everyone. This is Mrs. Nicholson, and we are going to be going up to my studio in a minute, but in case you hear him barking, I wanted to introduce you to our dog, Mr. Whitby.
Witters.
And he might be barking in the background, hopefully not. So, one of the
Let's go.
One of the advantages to the situation that we're all in is that I get to show you my studio. So normally you wouldn't get to see it. My studio is all the way up on the 3rd floor of my house. So we're going on up there. So as some of you know, I'm a portrait artist and a children's book illustrator. And so this is where I do my art. So let's go on in. So as you can see, I have some nice windows. It's important to have a lot of light in an artist studio. This is my easel where I'm working on a portrait right now of my daughter Abby. Out in the spring sunshine, well, not the sunniest picture, but she's making a flower chain. And there's a nice view of some spring trees in the background. These are my pastels for when I work with pastel. And this is what one of my finished pastels looks like. So this is where we're going to be talking about our lesson today. So, let's see, this is a print that I did maybe about like 5 years ago of a cherry blossom. It's called Cherry Blossoms in the Moon. Cherry blossoms have always been something I've really liked to create art about. And this time of year, I hope that you've been looking outside your windows, maybe going on some hikes with your family. Thank goodness we can all still go outside, even if we keep a distance from each other. The comfort of God's creation, seeing the beauty of these spring trees blossoming around us. In the country of Japan, they get so excited about the spring and the blossoming trees. They actually have a big celebration called Huname, and it's called flower viewing. And they all go outside and gather in groups and enjoy the spring flowers together. Since we at RAA can't do that, we're going to have our own little indoor cherry blossom festival together. And we're going to be making a cherry blossom screen. A screen is something that you could hang on your wall, or is sometimes freestanding. Japanese homes were traditionally had areas that were open to the outside, and they would use a screen, oftentimes a very decorative screen, to block the wind so they could still be outside, but there wouldn't be a strong wind blowing on them. So we are going to make our own cherry blossom screen, and hopefully you can hang it up inside your house and feel like if we all have these hanging up inside our houses, maybe we're looking at the cherry blossoms together. Also recommended, maybe this summer, if hopefully we can all get out again, there's a place called the Shufuso Japanese House that you can visit in Fairmount Park. It has one of the traditional type of Japanese homes. And every year they have a cherry blossom festival. Unfortunately canceled this year, but maybe next spring. Think about going to that. So, I'm going to start us off with a poem. And this is a poem that's translated from a Japanese poem. On his little twig of plum, his plum tree twig, the nightingale dreamed one night that snow had come. On the hill and in the vale and on the hill, everything white and soft and still, only the snowflakes falling, only the snow. On a night when the snow had come, as the snowflakes fell, the nightingale dreamed of orchards white with plum, on the hill and in the vale and on the hill, everything white and soft and still, only the petals falling, only the plum. So we are going to be working on creating a cherry blossom screen. You will need the biggest piece of white paper you can find. This is the biggest piece I had in the house, but say you just have some copy paper, you can tape it together at the edges like I did here, and you can make it as long as you want. You'll need some twigs from outside, and oftentimes, I know in my backyard there's some twigs that fall on the ground, but if you don't have twigs, you can print out a picture of some twigs online. Or maybe you just feel confident drawing the twig branches yourself, which is great. I find that these can help when you're first learning to draw. Sometimes we can actually trace things in nature. You'll also need some paint, but if you don't have paints, that's okay. You could use a marker or a crayon. Some different colors of construction paper or even collage paper, scissors, and glue. And these little paper cupcake holders can make some fun flowers too. So I'm going to start off by tracing one of my branches. And it'll probably come up, relatively, rough. But it's just helping me get sort of how branches can be uneven. They aren't always perfectly straight. They have bumps on them and little buds coming out. So there's one. And you probably want to trace a couple of branches just to make your screen interesting. Alright, so then you can look at what you drew. There might be some places where branches overlap and you can go ahead and erase that. If there's any branch that ends up looking kind of funny, like this one, you want your branches to be thicker at the base and get thinner as they go along. You can even add some more delicate twigs if you wish to. Oh, great. I feel like I like my twigs here. You might need to dust some dirt off of your piece of paper. And I'm going to mix a little bit of, I'm going to try to get closer to this color of brown that the branch is. So you can see that paint and this branch are really different colors. So the brown that we sometimes get in our paint tubes isn't always quite accurate to the brown that we see in nature. So sometimes if you add a little bit of black, it can help kind of make it a softer brown. Let's see if I can, maybe I'll even add a little more black. This light will help you see those colors better. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and paint in my branches. Thinking about starting at the base, and the paint will naturally be sort of thicker at the base like the way a branch grows, and then pulling out the branches from the base. I might go over this area. Maybe I'll make this a little thicker. Go. And if you wanted to make your branch look more three-dimensional, you could even add maybe just a tiny bit of white to the paint you've already mixed. And you can go over parts of your branch. Oftentimes the shadow would be kind of underneath your branch. So I'm adding some lighter areas to my branches to make them look a little more three-dimensional. You don't have to, just if that's something that you want to add. And then I want to decorate this with as many cherry blossoms as I can. And there are a bunch of different ways I can do that. I have these paper cups, paper cupcake cups, and I could just put some glue on the bottom and stick that on. I could use one of these smaller ones, and if I had some pink paint or even a pink marker, I could color some pink on there. I could put it inside that blossom. I have some collage paper, but one thing I asked you to get was some construction paper. Hopefully you have some around your house. If not, maybe some old wrapping paper would work, or tissue paper works really well for this. So I'm gonna let this dry and I'm gonna show you how I make this kind of blossom. So I have a cup, so you wanna have a cup that sort of narrows into kind of a smaller area there. And I'm gonna trace the bottom of my cup. And I'm gonna draw some triangles around it. And then I can just go ahead and cut that out. And when you cut it out, it's gonna look like this. And then you just fold up the edges. And you have a blossom. And you could glue that on too. And if you want to make some more delicate blossoms, this is a little harder, so maybe this is something you might want to do if you're in 2nd or 3rd grade. I bet some of you 1st graders could do it too, though. You would make a little circle, and then you're going to draw some diamonds going around the circle. And then you would cut it out, and you can bend up the blossoms, or bend up the petals. And you could glue that on another part of your screen. I'm gonna glue on this one here. So think about filling up your screen with as many blossoms as you can. At the end of the paper, or at the end of the file that I sent you with the lesson written down, there'll be an image of this when it's finished. So you can see that you want it filled with as many paper blossoms as you can. You can hang it on your wall, and we can all think of having these hanging on our walls so that we're all celebrating the cherry blossoms together and thanking God for the beauty of the spring, even though we can't be together. Take care.